don't get battles like that very often. That's a 3-9. That's a 300 to 1 kill ratio. We'll take that, right? That'll definitely work. Just what we needed before we launch our invasion here. And let's start an episode here. We're going to have battle, some kind of battle. We've got children to upgrade and talk about. So welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. Welcome back to our Epic Nord campaign. It's been a little while since I had an episode. In fact, both gameplay and days available for me to play. We've had about an hour without really filming any because it was a lot of drudgery. Sort of take this city, take that castle, and shove the Vlandians out of the Highland Arena. We've now taken the entire Highland Arena. King Canute is forming an army. We have a vast army that we've now assembled, and our children are continuing to come to age. This is Tyra, and she is a behemoth. She's a huge woman. And there's a random nature to the size of the characters, and so I've decided just to role play along with that, right? With some of the encyclopedia they've been put in for various different participants. Thank you, you Patreon supporters, Blair, Devin Blair, and then of course the sons, William and Henry. These are actually children of somebody who watches the channel, right? He says his children watch. Hopefully they're old enough to suffer through a few F-bombs. And this guy is also new. I appreciate you joining the community, the Patreon community, especially Marek Saranis. This guy's going to be a bit of a liaison / diplomatic employee between us and the Empire, right? The Northern Empire is still left in this campaign. Of course, he will be on the battlefield as well. And we have assembled this huge army. Now, let's see here. How do I want to do this? We want to make a big invasion of the Vlandians, and it's really dragging on our influence, but King Canute is in perfect position here to play defense. If they attack anything behind our backfield here, he'll be able to intercept them, so to speak, and defend. And I'm reminded of the American Civil War and Mexican War General Winfield Scott, right, with the Anaconda plan here. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit in today's episode, but we're going to try to cut the Vlandians in half. We're going to try to take two of their biggest cities, two of probably their richest cities, and get more children here. We've got so many children, we're going to lose track of them, right? Gulta has 16 children, which is, I've never heard of that before in Bannerlord. And her last brood twins, or no, it's 15 maybe. I don't know. She's a lot of kids. That's what she's got. And Tyra is of the latest. She's going to be a Skjoldbrestier captain. So we're going to spec her out initially just to level her up with some throwing axes and stuff like that. Eventually she'll have a two-handed axe. And let's get all the children into the army, because the son has now had his glory. And so with the patriarchal system of the medieval world, and still the world we live in today, the children, the daughters have to follow the son. And bad decision, right? Where we've got our steamroller here. We've got 2,000 forces, and there's another 1,000 coming to reinforce us here. So we've got a gigantic army, and this Vlandian force done fucked up, to quote some Southerners. Bad decision. You're about to get steamrolled here. Now, we could wait, but I'm in a hurry here. The Vlandians are recovering quickly because of some of the mods we're using. They have the Lord Retinue Mod, and of course they're also using the Party Resize mod, which makes their armies larger. Tyra looks pretty badass, if I do say so myself. She's going to be beautifully, hopefully, surviving, cutting her way through the enemy in the Skjoldbrestier division, the 3rd division most of the time. And we're going to fight this. I could auto-resolve this, but I don't want to lose 600 troops, just like that last battle, which probably won't include. We had a 300 to 1 kill ratio. That's about as good as you can get in Bannerlord. We had 950 kills and 3 injured. Don't think we'll be able to do that here. This is a lot more troops, and the power bars is close to even, right? We're going to have to definitely do some tactics here to minimize losses. This invasion hopefully is going to be through the heart of Vlandia, right? We're going to try to take Pravend, and so we really need to minimize losses, because there's going to be a huge amount of forces in the heartland of Vlandia, right? Not to mention they're going to obviously get reinforcements, because you're kicking the proverbial hornet's nest. Now we'll speed through this. I'll use the RTS mod extensively here, and we're not going to get too idiosyncratic with individual tactics in a battle like this. I just don't want to have 600, 700 casualties here, which is what would happen with the auto-resolve, when we can probably hold it down to 300 or maybe less. Now, we've got allied forces here. This is the garrison sallying out. I wish they weren't here, actually, but we'll make do. I've got some nice slopes, and I don't see the Vlandians moving up, so they must be in a defensive knot somewhere. They might be forming the dreaded circle defense. Take a peek here around the edge, and it does look like they are. Alright, well, we know how to break this, right? You on the channel, you guys all know how to break this. You pound them with enough ranged units, ranged weapons. Eventually, once the AI suffers enough losses, it correctly charges. The problem is that by then it's down 150 troops, and we're going to be ready for the charge. There's some predictability to the AI, and unless I close my eyes, we have no choice but to take advantage of it. So, still beneficial for those fledgling battlefield commanders out there that are watching this. This is how you destroy a circle defense, right? We're going to bring up skirmishers in a wide arc, dump, throwing weapons into them. Now behind us I have an infantry division, the 6th Corps, that is basically, they're the enforcers, if and when the enemy takes the bait. And not when, they're going to, right? They're coming down towards us here. And Glaron Heavyhand has been using this cavalry, but he doesn't like it. So let's make those guys form a square, and then we'll have them get off their fucking insolent horses. Let's back this 1st Division up. I'm worried about their cav getting behind us here to our archers. Let's keep an eye on our flanks. And it's just a murderous fire coming in here. 2nd, 3rd. The 3rd can blitz too. The 3rd is right here. We could try to get a better angle on them, but they're probably going to charge pretty soon. In fact, we got to go now. Let's get these guys squared and get this 3rd Corps backed up, because this enemy force is going to bore in quickly. Alright, let's bring the skirmishers up. Oh shit, I'm late. Fuck, let's get our shield up here. And now let's countercharge with this 3rd and 6th. Look at the deaths, man. You just don't see that very often in Bannerlord. That is amazing. It's literally just going as fast as it can go, just green. And I think that was Tyra. Did Tyra just get a level in her first battle? That's pretty great. We've got Tyra is in the battle. Eric the Red is in the battle. And of course his 2 older sisters, Brynhild. We'll have to get used to at least some of the frontline gals' names. And eventually, if this campaign goes long enough, maybe these characters get taken over, right? I reserve the right to change some of the names of some of the children. For Patreon supporters, we had Rose in the last campaign. Rose, if you drop by and you want to be, one of an arch murderer's, daughters, let me know, right? We'll rename her. We can do a second name or a middle name as well. I don't mind being Brynhild Rose something. That would be awesome. That's let's zerg these they got like 50 insolent crossbow here. I think we can just charge these guys. Oh shit, cavalry's coming in fast. But we've got the medicine for what ails us here. We've got all kinds of shock troops. And you just don't see cavalry die like that very often. This army is turning into a world-destroying machine. And for anybody who's like, well, the campaign's over already, you're just crushing everything, we're going to make this campaign much harder than it is right now. We'll do a little reset here. We're going to up the difficulty in a number of different ways. And when it isn't chaos, I'll try to talk more about that. But this isn't anything. We're going to see armies 4, 5, 6, 10,000? I don't know. They're going to be the largest armies you've probably ever seen before in a Bannerlord campaign. Add in the reinforcement system, add in high-end graphics, and it's going to look like, an epic movie. Straight out of the medieval ages with dismemberments. They're charging with their last wave here. These are some really mentally strong Vlandians, but they're not physically strong. Back up, bitches. We're just going to carve a path here. Even if we go down, Glaron Heavyhand is a true berserker spec. He does not mind going down, especially in battles like this. And in a way, I can take advantage of the fact that player death is turned off. The other companions and whatnot, as we've already seen, their death is turned on. It's not turned up, but it's on. But the player death is still off. I just want to at least have 8, 10, 12 episodes in the books here before we open up Glaron Heavyhand to the realm of mortality. And so I guess in a way, I probably won't be doing this, right? If he can die, especially at an accelerated rate. We'll talk more about the Death for All mod. I've got a posse of peasants chasing after me here, and you just run away because you have a 30% speed banner. He really is cracked out. He's so fast with the fastest swinging axe you've ever seen. And everything dies. It's so fast that a lot of units can't even pull out their weapon. They're like, what was that? Dead. He tried to pull out his little scimitar and his head's already rolling on the ground. And appropriately, they're routing here. Nobody wants to face the hurricane. His son is gaining levels, and all is well. Right now, of course, this is just a warm-up. So let's talk about it a little bit. The reinforcement system is active, and the settings, we'll look at the settings periodically, but they remain how they were, what I originally showed you. Essentially, enemy forces are going to join outside of battles as long as the battle looks like there's a chance for them to win. And that's a good start, right? We got nobody got even knocked unconscious there. It's not a 300-to-1 kill ratio, but it's a 8-to-1. That'll certainly do. Minimize losses here. We're going to be able to consolidate this army. And even though we're going to be trudgingly slow, we're going to siege, right? We're going straight to Pravend. That's where I'm definitely concerned about reinforcements. Oxhall, we'll see. I may or may not siege Oxhall. I may go straight to the outer border of Vlandia. Now, why would you do this, right? Strategically, why do you make this kind of move? There's a bunch of different reasons. One of them is selfish. I want to steal all the food that is making big cities big. If you don't know how it works, essentially cities that are not harassed, cities that are not sieged, villages that are not raided, they get bigger over the course of time. And I can give you basically the closest example we have in this campaign is our own capital, Glaron Heavyhand's capital, Thronderlag. We've been shoving food both into the stash and to the market itself at Thronderlag. And it's amazing how big cities can get. We'll just give you a look. It was approaching 10,000 the last time I looked. 9,800, right? And you see the food stocks. That also means that it can withstand a siege a long time before the people are starving. Again, that happens because there's lots of food locally. The villages aren't raided. They get bigger and bigger, right? And the hearths, which is the numbers that basically represents the prosperity for villages, gets larger and larger. So we got the two daughters are also, just make sure that they're properly attired here to go to battle. And they are, although I'll probably upgrade her armor. In fact, this piece, it basically looks like it, and it's a much better piece. We're more worried about survival than her looking like the ultimate Nord goddess. Brynhild. And Tyra looks fantastic, I gotta say. Let's get her more, we can do Jareeds, it's fine, temporarily. Most of our units are gonna use throwing axes, but in the short term, more throwing weapons. That's how you level your kids, your companions. You don't want them just wading into battle with 30 weapon skill and a two-handed weapon. They don't even get to swing it, right? They get insta-killed by the first sergeant or legionnaire they run into, which they're going to. And that's that, right? Of course, the hideouts work too, but we're obviously not doing hideouts with 3,000 troops. Doing a bunch of stealth missions. Glaron Heavyhand despises creeping about in the shadows. He stomps the face of the enemy in broad daylight and despises the little underworld scuzz who throw daggers in the dark. He throws fists in the daylight. God, it's fun to roleplay these characters. Just a 6'10" mountain of a Viking man. Just an angry disposition. You can use all your eclectic words for him, right? He's dyspeptic. He's unpleasant. He's impetuous. There's a whole bunch of words that would describe Glaron Heavyhand, and not many of them are good. It's fun playing the anti-hero, too. What he is good at is waging war. And let's give her all these extra troops. We've got some of these Nord lords that are with us, that what we're just going to do is shove some of these extra villager recruits on them. This is one of the best ways to fatten up an army before you siege, is just to go to all the local villages and look at the hearths. 700. The previous one was 1,300, right? So when you ask them for villagers, they have 20, 30, 50 villagers, right? And eventually those guys upgrade. If we wanted to, we could dump a bunch of equipment and immediately start upgrading them right now, but I don't think we need to do that. It'll be nice for these troops just to get dumped into the garrison of whatever city we take. Let's go take a look at Pravend. I'd love to capture this Vlandian force, but we're probably not going to be able to. And 46, right? We're getting a huge amount of free troops because these villages are huge, right? 1,300 again for the hearths. And again, what you can think of that basically means is these villages are almost small cities, right? They never become a city, but villages can get vast. And eventually they have like 300 troops defending them. It's pretty awesome. It's too bad they don't have like a watchtower or something like that. But it's just a feature I want to talk about and continue to emphasize. There is an economy to Bannerlord, and if you understand how it works, you obviously can use that to your advantage. Now, there's the queen right there. Pick up another 30 or 40 troops from this village, and I think we're ready. And look at all the rats scurrying around, right? We are going to get attacked by Vlandian rats when we siege here. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of how many, right? It looks like there's 1,200 or something like that already defending. It's 4 digits, 12 something. There's more scurrying in for their own safety. 1,800, and look at the prosperity. Holy fuck, man. 13,000 prosperity here at Pravend. They've got all these villages just yielding food. And I was hoping King Canute would play defense, but the AI is exercising artificial imbecility, and they're not going to cooperate. So hopefully he doesn't, sell the whole farm here trying to defeat a few rebels there. Now, the other reason, strategically, that this works really well is this pulls Vlandian forces out of our frontier, right? I wanted to keep King Canute from being assailed, and here they all are already, right? All the Vlandians are already scurrying towards us, and we welcome an attack by, 2,000. What we don't need to get attacked by is like 7,000. We'll be defeated. There's obviously a limit to tactics. There's a limit to how powerful any army can get, and I don't know the exact number. But obviously, if another big Vlandian army looms up, we'll leave the siege and try to fight them in the open. We don't need the garrison sallying out on top of 4,000 or 5,000 troops out here. I mean, there's already about 3,000 troops there. This is getting gnarly. Isla, she wants me to mention her name once in a while. She said she's a legitimate woman who's a Patreon member. She said, since nobody believes me, she said she's going to send naked pictures to anybody who asks. And of course, insert proverbial sexist joke here. She just definitely didn't say that, and hopefully I didn't just lose her as a Patreon member. In any case, she said she is a female watcher, and I think that is great. That is her character too, by the way. Isla is literally copy-paste, at least the physical side. We kept a healer from our campaign. She was something of the river or whatever, I don't remember. She was the healer we were developing, and her character, she said, was healer spec, right? She had a lot of medicine spec and steward and stuff like that. So, in any case, we'll talk about... Oh, shit.
It's been a while.
What do we got going on here? We got one of these dipshits again, right? We can't see. Well, no wonder he attacked with only 300. The guy's blind. He's only got one eye, so he probably, his good eye, there was like, on the left flank, there was a bunch of troops charging in. He can't see the right, and he heard horses, so he's charge, and nobody else charged with him, and he got destroyed. We'll do some sexist jokes, we'll do some blind jokes, and it's a good thing there's no Twitter for my channel, or I'd be getting raged on. I am very progressive. I am very sympathetic to the blind, but in the name of humor, just like a Bill Burr or a Dave Chappelle or whatever, we're gonna push the edges a little bit, and just know in your hearts that I'm an anti-racist. I despise racism and I despise sexism, and I think it might be time right here. This is starting to get pretty ominous. There's a lot of Vlandians. But the channel, we're going to try to keep you guys entertained, and of course we'll try to keep it on this side of classy. We're not going to do any actual jokes that these Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr do, because they'd be pushing way over the limits of what we're going to do on the channel. Now it's hard to tell, 3,000 or 4,000 Vlandians out here. And when we siege this city, or if they attack us, there's very likely to be reinforcements, right? So let's go the decreased taken melee attack damage banner. And I think we go now and just We just hope they don't all engage. There's a system to it. Essentially, lords that don't have great relations with some of the lords that are involved may not join, and also the distance may be a factor, right? We're going to get reinforcements here, and if you've never seen a siege with reinforcements, buckle up, right? There are going to be several in this campaign. Now, of course, I don't know how many there have actually been because I'm trying to think of the order of these coming out. Some of these, there have been sieges where we've already had reinforcements behind us, but they're not going to be part of this campaign, or more accurately, this playlist. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but they're going to fall under our weekly epic siege, even though they came directly from the campaign. You know, it wasn't a side branch or something like that. And I got to fix what other division gets mixed. I think the 7th. Yeah, these divisions are getting mixed up, so let's just fix these. There we go. In any case, there are going to be a wild amount of reinforcements coming in this battle, so you have to anticipate it, right? We're going to do some unusual things here from a siege perspective. 4th and 6th over here on this tower, I think. We'll just give them an archer division as they move up, and buckle up, right? This is going to be a gnarly affair. In fact, let's sit up in our chair here. Let's get comfortable, get a little bit of tea. And 1st, 3rd, 5th over here. And let's do basically a rear guard, right? This is the kind of thing that real armies would do historically. You don't need this normally in Bannerlord, but you do with the reinforcement system. In case reinforcements start attacking us from behind, we need to have some troops that are capable of a rear guard. So the 2nd and 7th is back there. 1st, 3rd, 5th, we're going to move over on this left side, and they'll have the ladders. And then the 4th, I'm going to get on that fire catapult too. I think that's good, right? 4th, 6th. Did I get confused? The 8th Corps on the ram. I did get confused. We've got a shit ton of units, but so does the enemy, right? The Battlesize mod. On top of all the other beautiful things that are happening in this battle, there's an incredible lighting scene. The Battlesize mod is on too, right? So this is going to be buckle up, right? If you've never seen one of these, I can't tell you how excited I am for you. In fact, already, how did they hit us already? They already blew up one of our trebuchets. I didn't realize that they had fire catapults. Was that just a lucky rock shot? Of course, your mangonels come into the battle with whatever help they had outside it, so maybe it was almost broken anyways. You know, that trebuchet could have been already damaged. So we'll see. They've got some kind of catapults. I see them up there. And they're firing rocks down into our, you know, it's like grape shot, drilling. It's a great effect. It's too bad it's not like really good ragdoll effect, because if you got hit by a cannonball or a catapult shot like that, your body would go flying all over the place, and parts would break off probably. It'd be horrific. And the lighting is astounding, but it's also really hard for me to see. There's like this stunning sunset as usual. The light boxes in Bannerlord are second to none. We've got to get some of these archers off the walls and start sending some troops up here on this side first, and then we got to get back to that fire catapult. This is going to be very methodical. Sieges like this against such a huge defending force. I mean, what was theirs? There was, you know, I don't know. I don't actually remember. What is it? 1800, something like that. You know, you're going to have to grind your way through. You can't just shove through the gate and think you got it. So the usual, we're going to apply pressure at all 3 locations here. 1st and 3rd here with the 5th Division to support them. I'm going to go take a look at the fire catapult. Make sure the rams are going. Those guys are shoving it nicely. We've lost an Eagle Standard already. Somebody will pick it up. And then let's get on this fire catapult. We got a broken down trebuchet. I got to be mindful of getting hit by enemy artillery here. Obviously, they're hitting right next to us, right? I got to watch. We may have to tell everybody, get down all of a sudden, right? And there's plenty of scum Vlandians to shoot at here. I see lots of little filthy red creatures on the walls. We're going to give them here some 3rd degree burns and some dismemberment action. We got a trebuchet blasting the siege, and it just feels like it's out of a movie, right? With the lighting, with the troops everywhere, with the siege weapons firing off. There's big loud explosions, the siege towers going up. Ridley Scott, eat your heart out. Now those guys are stuck on that trebuchet. Stupid dipshits. There are, you know, still little glitches. It's such an ambitious game, right? There's always going to be some kind of little glitch. Once we dial this in, we're going to be able to melt all those defenders holding back that siege tower. They're going up the ladders, but it looks like one of them has been shoved off. I can't really tell. And the ram, I can't tell what's happening. I think the guys on the ram are getting killed because it stopped getting pushed forward. I'm just going to sit here for a minute. The siege tower is up. I want those troops bursting a hole. And if I run to micromanage something else, it'll take me a minute to get back here. We do have divisions going up over there, and they are making quite a storm. And I should be dialed in here soon. Come on, baby. There we go. That's what we're talking about, right? A big old flush of red. Now you just keep doing it. And I'm very mindful of two things right here. I'm mindful of those stones. All of a sudden, I see them firing them all over the place. In fact, they're hitting their own tower. They must have Ray Charles up there on that catapult. Get up this fucking siege tower. These knuckleheads are not doing it. And I'm very mindful about reinforcements. You'll get a message usually. It says reinforcements. It's not like I'm just going to get couch lanced in the back. But I'm in a bad spot. If all of a sudden there's reinforcements here, I'm going to have to run to our circle and basically use that as a bodyguard wing. And we just have a G spot here. Right? Let's just fire away. Oh, baby. We still got several of these fireballs. It looks like the ram, I think I heard a boom, like they just shoved it to the door. I still don't see it working. I don't think it's destroyed. It's not destroyed. Let's figure out what's going on here. We got to get through that main door. If we don't get through the door here, we got problems. And these guys, speaking of problems, these guys got problems. You can't get them out of here. It's like the trebuchet blew up and they got stuck. It's like they got encased inside the trebuchet when it blew up. They're entombed there. It'd be a bad way to die. It'd be like a gibbet. They're going up the siege tower, but it's damaged too. I'm not thrilled about that because if it gets hit with throwing axes, it can break pretty easily. I think the gate is our access here. They are using it. I think. Use it. Yeah, I hear him slamming. I don't know what's taking him so long. I suspect they're getting shot. Of course, the Vlandians have, you know, sharpshooters everywhere. And you know what? That's fine. They're just not going to use the ladders. That's all right. There's at least some pressure over there. The siege tower is putting pressure to the other side. Let's go through the gate. I think it is a bit of a murder hole here. There's all kinds of crossbow out there just scorching us. It's a hell of a scene. There's flaming fireballs coming in while there's archers shooting on the walls. It's just a glorious setting. Gets the throwing axe right to the face. And what is happening here? Get through the door. Is this the strongest door of all time? I might have to get on the ram here. You guys need some manpower? Glaron Heavyhand gets busy. Right, this guy knows how to swing a fucking battering ram. He's almost 7 foot tall. He doesn't need help. Just get off, boys. He'll do it. All right, let's get, we're going to send a square through. We're going to send a sacrificial square through and then follow up, right? We will definitely take the 2nd and 7th and push them through. Whatever side is less busy, that's where we're going to take troops through. It's going to be a maelstrom in there. And I know I use that word a lot, but there's going to be an unbelievable amount of Vlandians inside. They're still pressuring over there, and the archers are standing by. We can bring them in as well. So 5th, 6th, 7th, 2nd. That'd be 3 divisions through the gate. That's kind of crowded, and I'm waiting for that fuck to throw rocks, right? They throw rocks. Let's see if we can't push through here. Push in, boys. And I'd love for these guys to get their heads hit with a rock instead of me. There they go. He started to throw rocks. And now you just time it, right? You wait for the next one. And you go. Alright, let's pull troops this way. Get in here, boys. We got a breach. You don't even wait. Don't even turn your back. Or don't even turn around, right? Just get troops in here. Just get them pointed in. And then you can deal with these guys piecemeal, right? When there's 2 or 3... This is not your fucking tower. What the fuck is this? And they got tons of guys up on the wall, too. We're really going to have to fight hard to gain access here to this courtyard. I just got bitch slapped. Fucker. And the troops are kind of filtering in slow. Normally it's a lot faster. I don't know why they're coming in so slow. That's going to make things harder. Get in here. 2nd and 7th. There's not really good spots to put archers here, right? And I'm definitely not going to put them up on the wall. There's a Vlandian. Fucking got drilled in the neck. There's a Vlandian guy here just vibrating. Now these guys are in a square. That's why they're not attacking, right? We're going to have them charge, but I'd like a few more troops inside here. They won't even attack this guy. Kill them. We're just going to have to charge here. Let's get 2 more divisions in here. The 4th, 7th, 4th and 6th and 7th. And I'm going to have to start thinking about ammunition here too, right? You don't want all your archers just open fire. If we get reinforcements in this battle, I'm going to want at least a division or 2 that have some ammo. And no sign yet, unless I missed a message that there's been reinforcements or that units aren't joining, right? If we're just slaughtering the city, reinforcements won't join, but it doesn't look like a slaughter. Frankly, this would be the best possible time for the enemy to attack, right? Our forces are in transition. I'm not hoping for an attack, but, you know, if we get an attack right now, I guess from our side, this would be the worst time. We're still trying to get forces inside. There's a huge scrum at the gate. They must have 1,000 troops right here. There's so many Vlandians. It's just all the way from here to the tavern over there. I'm trying to monitor my health. These kind of battles, you want to stay upright because you really want to command. And it's nice to have the axe when we need it. We got a bunch of troops over here on this side. I think the sisters both just got levels. I think that's what I saw. Brynhild and... that's amazing. The offspring of the terror. Archers, infantry everywhere. Holy shit, there's a lot of Vlandians pouring through the door. And the gatehouse is a total mess, right? You can just see troops pouring down the stairs there. There's a gigantic fracas here, and it said 1,000. It said 1-1 something or other. Oh no, I thought that said 1,000. It's 110. So there's a bunch of different divisions. It looks like it's maybe 600 or 700. I thought it was 1,000 infantry. You can get 1,000 infantry against you with the Battlesize mod. It feels like 1,000, even if it's only 200-300. And it's a glorious scene. Come on, let's take this courtyard so that we can fucking hold the city. If we do get backdoored, we want at least a courtyard. You don't want to be all strewn about. And I got the bull haircut, fucking birth control haircut crowd chasing me. Fuck. A bunch of little militia. They're hitting me with their ball-peen hammer. Trying to shoot me. Fuck, he did shoot me. I'm down to a sliver. Just like that, I'm down to a sliver. Fighting militia, too. It's amazing what happens when you get shot in the face. And they are getting ripped apart, and here we go. That's basically the trigger. Once that starts happening, it's just a matter of how many now, right? The Vlandians are now going to start coming in behind us, right? Where our rear guard was, and it is no longer, we're going to have to start getting troops in. Now, 7, 8, 6, 4. We got to start getting troops into the courtyard here. But here's the thing. I don't think there's carnage. There's troops falling off the walls and pouring down here. The courtyard is already just a complete charnel house. There's dead people everywhere. We aren't getting anywhere. Now here's the thing, right? I don't think we're out of reinforcements, right? We have 3,000 troops. I think we have at least 1,000 reinforcements. And if you're wondering how it works in a reinforcement system, your waves come in slightly different locations, and they come in alternatingly. So there's cavalry right there. The fucking Vlandians are rolling in troops. So just like a regular battle, they get some, you get some. It's almost like a card game, right? You draw a card, he gets to draw a card. And now it's just a question. They're intermingled right now. We got to get some archer support here. They're charging us. There's cavalry. The left side is clear, and it's going to be beautiful carnage. Let's try to make sense of this shit. Kill that guy. The cavalry is the real concern, right? Because they'll spear the shit out of your units. They'll just cycle charge. Now, there's all kinds of debris, and there's all kinds of fucking walls and shit in the way. It's going to function to our benefit as long as we can get set up. We got to get these archers clear. It looks like there's a huge fracas there. I have 500 troops coming in reinforcements here, so we got to get the troops out of the city temporarily and help these guys, right? In fact, we might even make our stand right here. There's a bit of a choke point. The two different siege walls here make a little bit of a narrow choke point that we can get squares and defend the shit out of. I've got a sliver of health. This is going to be much. I wish I had a half a health bar. This would be a lot more enjoyable. I'm hella stressed. But we've got a lot of troops. We can start dividing divisions. The enemy still has troops inside, so we've got to have at least 2 divisions charging inside to try to clear the castle, clear the city. And this is what I mean. These are some of the absolutely most glorious battles in Bannerlord. This would be my number 2 mod, right? After the RTS mod, this is my second favorite mod in all of Bannerlord. It just, there's nothing that does anything close to this to gameplay. And again, I don't know if there's 300 Vlandians coming or 3,300, right? They will keep coming and filtering in just like a regular battle, right? So we may get reinforcements, they may get reinforcements. I've already got about 800 troops here. And I think this little choke point here is perfect. They're attacking our troops that are stuck in there. It's hilarious looking. Cutting the poor guys down. And a bunch of cavalry's coming in. I wish I could get this division spread out in a hurry, but we're not going to be able to. The cavalry's just pouring in through the dike. Our troops are separated here because a lot of our troops are inside the city. And I'm just going to use this little buttressed barricade here. There's a bunch of cavalry coming in. At least we got the dike jammed up here. And I think what makes sense here is multiple squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5, right? And you start putting squares in different locations here. It's going to take me a second to sort of figure out a method here. First, second. We want to get the 4th archers split. We'll move them to another division. Let's just put some squares here. Of course, the RTS mod's going, so it's not like I lose my character and it's going to go to shit, but you want to keep your main character up as long as possible in a battle like this. We can get some flanking archers here and really starting to be concerned about ammo, right? You guys can't see the power bar. I'm going to do that to you frequently in battles like this, right? I'm looking up at it, but it's irrelevant. With the reinforcement system, you have no idea how many forces are coming in. I can just tell you at this stage, I'll just tell you it looks pretty close to equal, but I really think that means nothing. Who knows how many troops they have. We may have more reinforcements coming. Just buckle up. That's what I'll tell you. There's a lot of unknowns at this stage, and I think that's a beautiful thing. We've got the hole jammed up, but what I want to do is get a little opening and make it just like keep defense with these two different buttressed barricades. They're exposed to archers. And I can't tell, it's not giving me an enemy locator, an enemy number up there, which I actually like. Like I said, it's a bunch, right? I can kind of glance, and there's a bunch, right? There's a whole bunch of cavalry, and we've got them bottled up for now, right? But how many more? Try to get some flanking forces. And the death spam is very bloody. I see George the Bandit King killing our troops. George, man, I never knew you were a betrayer. This is a guy who's a custom character for the Epic Vlandian campaign. If you watch the Epic Vlandian campaign, you already know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, you're completely lost. Bring these archers forward. We're starting to get most of our troops from inside the city. There's a handful of defenders that are still left inside the city, but it's not enough for me to worry about. We're going to getting shot in the back from archers on the walls inside the city, but it's not 600. It's like 50 or 20. Not worried about that. Get some archers set up here, and we can set up a ranged false gap. 1, 2, 3, 4. First, second, third, and fourth in nice little circles here. And now we just got to make sense of it all. I know you're probably like, what in the fuck is happening here? These guys are getting shelled by fucking skirmishers. Real battle was chaos, right? Real medieval battle was definitely chaos. You weren't ordering your units around beautifully with perfect discipline. That's one of the best parts about a battle like this. It's utter chaos. There's horsemen running around, people just trying to survive. They're trying to kill somebody else and trying to survive. We may have a fuck ton of infantry attacking our squares here. We're going to have at least 2 divisions go offensive with me. The 5th division's out of ammo. They can shoot and charge. Look at this shit. Scum Vlandians everywhere. Hold on, squares. We got your back. And there's cavalry and troops. There's already a huge carcass pile of fucking dead units here. It's fucking glorious. Yeah, they may keep getting reinforcements. You can get essentially snowballed in a situation like this. We're deep in Vlandian territory. Right? There might be 5,000 or 6,000 troops on the battlefield, or at least that are dead or alive on the battlefield at some point. There's really no limit to it. It's just how many Vlandians are here. Got to get this opening refined a little bit better. God, it looks good. How long is that dike gonna last though? It feels like they're holding back an avalanche, and they're starting to pour through now. Well, at least it's like 10 horsemen and not 300. God, it's carnage. Let's charge with a couple of these divisions over here. I'm so lucky I haven't been speared yet. Normally you get speared in situations like this. Or shot by a random sniper. Those guys are boring in hard on that flank. That looks good. We don't want to overcharge though, right? Here's our archer support. We want to keep our troops together on this fucking hill here. This is where we stand. This is where they die. Right? We do the whole 300. That's what it feels like. What a fucking battle. I got chills right now. Let's get vicious. I'm going to help this flank here, try to clear off. We don't want to get surrounded. We don't want our main squares getting enveloped, right? It's fine if they get surrounded at the breach, but not on our left and right flank. Take a little peek here. I think these guys can charge. The infantry should probably charge. There's a bunch of infantry. There's cavalry coming. It's fucking chaos. We've still got 2 divisions of archers in place, and they have a great spot. I can keep a square or 2 here on defense. Troops are pouring up. The 8th, 2nd, 5th. There's still fucking enemy forces inside shooting at us. Just brings a huge smile to my face. There's guys dying and their gear of war goes flying all over the place. I'll try to reset here. I don't know how many forces there are, right? There's a bunch of Vlandians, and each time I charge, I see a huge amount of red coming down the hill. Let's just keep our troops together here. There's no reason to charge yet, right? We're using this very effectively, right? This little chokehold here. It's ironic, of course, because this is the Vlandians' defensive formations or fortifications. Actually, what they are is like siege. They're like siege defenses. So I guess technically these are ours. Let's charge. These guys are all over our square here. There's a fuck ton of Vlandians here. Die! It's something like something out of a movie. Starting to break down. Let's just do an all charge here. You can get too cute. Sometimes it's just, let's get violent. Oh my god. Let's have at least our wing protected here. If we have squares on both wings, it'll help us from cavalry charges because they can't really charge from behind. That was a lord who just imploded. And all you hear is neighing horses and carnage. This first division is pushing a hole, and the death spam just went really green. Either the enemy's running out of troops, or they routed, or something. There's still carnage, but I think we're winning this shit. My hands are fucking sweating. Is it over? I think it might finally be over. And what a fucking fantastic... I got a sliver of health. Sometimes you get couch lanced in a battle like this and you're using some secondary character. Always nice to have your main character. And this is just a grisly and amazing scene of battlefield carnage. Straight out of the movies. Just dead horses everywhere. Our troops are now trying to go after the last handful of troops that are inside the city. We've got amazing light. And it wasn't particularly close. It looks like we have 800 troops left or something like that. But it was still a gnarly siege. Oh, man. give you an overview of some of the carnage here. It doesn't get much more chaotic and carnage than this. We'll get a little screenshot here for the YouTube, for the episode. And that was a hell of a siege. And critically, right, we still have a good amount of troops left. So we're going to be able to stock the garrison here and defend. Although the smell of death is going to be rank here for a long time as they chase down the last handful of troops. You don't get a much more grisly scene than this. I mean, and of course it stretches for hundreds of meters, right? Because the enemy's coming out way over here and they're literally just carcasses as far as the eye can see. And I don't know if there's a game that does carnage better than Bannerlord, right? Shit's on fire. There's beheaded people and corpses strewn about, dead horses, broken and damaged siege equipment, and I mean, what a scene. And hopefully you guys are getting what you signed up for, right? This is what Epic Bannerlord is all about. Some guys kind of probably dismiss the title of these campaigns. Epic, yeah, whatever, Epic. Well, I think this qualifies, right? 3,600 kills and we lost 1,500, 1,400. That'll do. That means we're going to be able to leave a huge crew here. We hardly suffered that many losses. A lot of our people are still upright. Marco, somehow you survived that battle. Einar, I think that's how you're going by it. He survived. Had a lot of really good results here and 295 upgrades. That is beautiful, right? That means this army can keep on going. Right? We're going to do more damage. And that was already a terrible body blow to the Vlandians here. Isaac the Terrible. Isak the Terrible. I'll try to do his, I think that's the Nord pronunciation. And I'm looking for Isla. We're trying to show Isla. I appreciate you. There you go, Isla. She's one of our top Patreon supporters. And again, if you want to be involved in this campaign, find us on Patreon. There's still a shit ton of Vlandians here. And this is what I meant. They didn't all engage. They might have not engaged because there was such a massacre, right? We were throttling those Vlandians as they came in. And just like a regular battle, if they're getting destroyed, the reinforcements say, fuck that, I'm not next on the conveyor belt, right? So there's a little realism to the reinforcement system. Sometimes it's a bit wonky, but you never get a battle like that with vanilla Bannerlord. And that was just a sheer joy for me to play, and hopefully pure joy for you fellas to watch. This campaign's going to have more of that. In fact, like I said, there's some sieges that are going to be part of the Epic Siege series that may air AIR. They may air out of, you know, we can't devastate it because we would have, you know, people bitch at us. Let's just pillage. Everybody can pillage. The episodes may appear out of chronological order because of the nature of the Epic Siege series. I try to do one a weekend. In fact, you might be watching Epic Siege like, you know, the day after you see this, and you know the year is 1109. The Epic Sieges might be 1104 or something like that because they chronologically don't line up, but they're from this same campaign. In any case, if you want more of that, the channel has lots of big gnarly sieges on tap, and of course on the retinue videos. I gotta take a shower or a bath or something after that. That was a fucking wild siege here. We're gonna sell a bunch of trinkets, and I think we're gonna let's see. Yeah, I'll take a little break. Episodes like that kind of wear me out mentally. Like, I don't think people understand, or maybe they do understand. Some guys are like, I have no idea how you narrate and play and do all the tactics and micromanagement. Well, it wears me out. That's what it does, right? It's very, very tiring. It's not that stressful, right? Because I enjoy, even if we lose, I enjoy a good battle, but it very, very much taxes my mental capabilities. So we're going to continue this campaign. I think what we'll do here is heal up a little bit, and I think the next target is Ox Hall, right? If we can take Ox Hall and Pravend, and there's 600 forces in the garrison here that no doubt the king is going to claim as his own, right? If you can't tell yet from a rivalry perspective, the king and Glaron Heavyhand are going to have some issues and speed up siege camp. However, this perk is way nicer. Look at this, +5 armor to all equipped armor pieces of troops in your formation. So Glaron Heavyhand is leading the 6th or the 2nd in siege. That's like 200 units that get +50 to their armor. That's an enormously valuable perk. It's another reason for you fellas out there to be working on engineer. You know, it just makes all the units that much tougher. It's amazing how many different perks there are on Bannerlord, man. When you start stacking them, your army becomes potent, and you can do shit like that. If you want to see more shit like that, of course, you are in the right place. Epic is what this channel does, right? We're practically known as the Epic Siege source on YouTube, and tactics and gigantic battles like that. So King Canute is busy. It looks like we're going to lose one castle, but that's a good trade, right? We take one of the richest cities in Vlandia, make it our own, buy all their food. I don't know, I didn't even mention that, right? They had 5,000 food there, right? So we buy all their food. Now we're going to go to all their villages and take all their food. We'll take all that back to our people. They'll all be carb addicted and getting obese, and then more people will move in. People like carbs. And here we go, right? You know the king's going to take it. Oh, no, he's not going to take it. Oh, he did take it. He overruled this guy. What a fuck. Even though he didn't have the vote percentage, the king overruled that guy somehow. He power tripped on him. I'm glad it wasn't me. I wouldn't be laughing. All right, let's pick up a few. Let's see. I'm just going to break this episode here. Of course, you want to subscribe. You want to see more from this campaign or this channel, fellas. I appreciate you guys. Please hit that like button. There's also a hype button. If you can find that shit, I don't even know where it is, but if you can find it, please hit it. And with all that said, I will see you, friends, next time.